The conflict between the world government and the ancient kingdom continues to this very day. Those were the last words of Vegapunk, who inherited the flame of Ohara from Dr. Clover. And Clover told us that the ancient kingdom was highly advanced in terms of technology. It was in this very kingdom that Joyboy is said to have been born, who later became the first pirate. We saw that during the time when King Herald and the giant pirate crew terrorized the seas, very few countries had the knowledge to build ships, which is why many nations lived isolated from the outside world. Even the world government, which already had an advantage over other nations, did not know much about how to build ships capable of withstanding the sea. In the conversation between King Harold and the elder Jarul, we learned that there once was a group of giants known as Galea, who were extremely skilled in shipbuilding, but suddenly, they vanished from the scene, and according to Jarul, the only power capable of making an entire group of giants disappear just like that is the world government. And since we have seen that the frozen giants of the Galila are located on Punk Hazard, we can safely assume that the world government obtained their shipbuilding knowledge from them in order to gain a significant advantage over other kingdoms. It is also important to mention that Punk Hazard once belonged to the world government and was the site of Vegapunk's main laboratory until Caesar Clown detonated a weapon that rendered the island uninhabitable. Geographically, however, something does not seem right with Punk Hazard. It looks as if a part of the island is missing, just like with Jaya back then. But here, the island simply has a massive hole in the middle. And it can hardly be a coincidence that Onigashima, which is located in Wano Kuni, fits perfectly into this hole. And if we think back, on Little Garden we first saw ancient creatures like dinosaurs, and in Elbaf we saw the same kind of beings again, while on Punk Hazard we even witnessed a dragon. So what if the ancient giants did not originally come from Elbaf but rather from Punk Hazard, and Onigashima once stood in that very hole where the gap in Punk Hazard currently is? That would mean that one of the wars which took place after the Void Century was actually fought against the ancient giants. After the world government defeated Joyboy, they gradually began eradicating various races, and one of the first to be wiped out were the ancient giants. In fact, it is no coincidence that Onigashima is located in Wano Kuni. We learned that the ancient Wano Kuni now lies underwater, and those massive walls that were built there could not have been made by human hands. This means the ancient giants helped Wano construct its walls, which is why they were accepted into their ranks. With Ryuma ensuring that the world government could not reach them, we could already see from Akainu's reaction how terrified the world government is of the samurai of Wano Kuni. Here, I personally believe that Ryuma was a sort of right-hand man to Joyboy, and perhaps even his successor. After all, Luffy cannot be the only one to have inherited the will of Joyboy over the last 800 years. Following Luffy's victory over Kaido, it was even said that the one who defeats Kaido should be called Joyboy, and the people immediately compared Joyboy with the sword god Ryuma. Moreover, we have the color spread of One Piece chapter 1009, where several statues are shown standing side by side, each wearing a straw hat. Otama is seen picking up Luffy's straw hat and attempting to place it on the last statue. For me, this clearly symbolizes that before Luffy, there were others chosen who paved the way for him. After all, his predecessor Roger essentially positioned his entire crew throughout the world, and time and again, they have helped the Straw Hats. Likewise, we have characters like Noland. Without him, we would never have discovered that there was an island in the sky, since without his legend we would never have known about a golden city. In the same way, Ryuma also plays a crucial role in the story, as he was responsible for making it possible for the poneglyphs to be completed in the first place, which later allowed archaeologists from Ohara to decipher these stones, and eventually even Vegapunk. Imu-sama and the Gorosei have a great interest in resources, which is why the hunting games often take place in countries rich in them. Among these, sea stone is one of the most important resources that the world government requires, both to imprison devil fruit users in Impel Down and to cross the Calm Belt without being devoured by sea kings. So we can confidently say that the world government has already been in contact with Wano long before the events involving Kaido, when they conducted business with him in order to obtain sea stone. And the only man who fits into this picture is Ethan Baron v Nusjuro, coincidentally, the war god of finance. Although very little is known about the Gorosei's past, their names already reveal a lot. We saw that 200 years ago Saturn was already a Gorosei, and was among those who decided that scientists could conduct research on the Iron Giant using Mother Flame. Looking at Saturn's title, he is called the War God of Science and Defense, which fits him perfectly, since he was, in truth, a scientist. When it comes to Ethan Baron v Nusjuro, the War God of Finance, his name gives away even more than we might think. First, the name Nusjuro reveals that he originates from Wano Kuni. His title, the war god of finance, implies that he must have been a ruler of some sort. In Wano, this could mean that Nusjuro was either the shogun, one of the daimyo, or the leader of the Yakuza. What is certain, however, is that he was someone significant. His sword, the Shodai KITETSU, is a dragon blade, and considered the most cursed sword in all of One Piece. I wouldn't be shocked if there was once a KITETSU family that was erased from Wano's history, and Nusjuro was a part of this family. Perhaps Ryuma himself also belonged to this family, since his true family name was likewise erased from history, as revealed in his Vivre card. Because Nusjuro cooperated with the world government, he gained immortality, but in exchange, he had to betray his own people and ensure that the ancient giants on Onigashima were exterminated. He must also have been the one responsible for the scar on Ryuma's eye, since aside from him, there was likely no other swordsman at the time strong enough to wound Ryuma. While we have followed the entire story of Luffy, watching him move closer to his goals and dreams, we have learned almost nothing from Imu's perspective, what he thinks, what his true goals are. It all seems, from the outside, as though Imu has done nothing all this time, but that is not the case. That's why I decided to create a series of videos on this massive theme, the war that has lasted for over 800 years, where I show you piece by piece what the world government has truly done. In this episode, we explored the downfall of the ancient giants, the Joyboy cycle, and the betrayal in Wano Kuni. I hope you enjoyed this theory, and if so, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you next time on my channel. Goodbye.